Thinking about buying a franchise? Don't go it alone. Just like a buyer's agent in real estate, you deserve someone who's on your side every step of the way. That's where Todd Abraham, the franchise guy, comes in. Todd's consulting services are completely free to anyone looking to buy a franchise. He'll represent your interest, make sure all your questions are answered, and walk you through the entire buying process. With Todd in your corner, you'll have the best chance for success from your first call to the day you hold the keys to your new business. So before you buy a franchise, talk to someone who knows the industry inside and out and works for you. Call Todd Abraham, the franchise guy, today at 423-381-0925 for a free, no-pressure consultation. That's 423-381-0925. Your future in franchising starts here. Happy New Year. My name is Todd Abraham, and today, on the first day of 2025, we are coming to you live on the Franchise Marketing Systems Client Spotlight podcast series on franchiseradio.net. And today, we are blessed to have with us Mr. Chukwuma Oputa, and him and his wife, Andrea, are the proud owners of let me make sure I say this correctly, Play and Learn Christian Academy,
Yes, sir.
which is based out of what city did you say?
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas.
Right.
And awesome school. It's not a daycare. It is a school, a Christian academy, which also functions in some aspects as a daycare too, right, Chukwuma?
Yes, you can definitely call us a school as well, but we also offer childcare as well, and after school program.
That is awesome. So welcome to the program, my friend. We were going to have Andrea, his wife, with us, and they have two beautiful children, 3 and 1, and the babysitter setup fell through. So today it's just me, and you can't see him, but he's smiling big, man. He's happy to be here.
I am. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me, Todd.
Yes, sir. So, Chukwuma, tell us a little bit about yourself and your wife, like what your background is, and what I think you said when we talked on the phone that your dad was and your mom were the one that started the Play and Learn Christian Academy. So, give us a little bit of background about it, if you will.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you again for having me, Todd. I'm so excited to be here. Well, a little bit about myself. My name is Chukwuma Oputa. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Andrea Oputa. And I have two beautiful kids, Ezekiel and Anael. And then we're expecting our third in April. So it's kind of busy around Oputa right now. I can tell you. So, a little more about my, background. I've been in youth development for around 8 years. I've also grew up in the daycare industry, so I'm quite fond to it. But a little bit more about our origin story. My parents, May and Bennett Oputa, in 1998, started Play and Learn Christian Academy. Their goal was to enhance the total child by giving quality child care, not just quality, but world-class child care that kind of turned into a school format for the community that they were in. So my father, he did everything from the books, and my mom, she did everything from the operation, and they really just came up with a system that really worked for us, that really appealed to the community that we serve. They really became an integral part of the community. So we like to say we just don't serve or watch kids, but our goal is to serve the total family. So that's a little bit about, how they started in 1998, and it's been full throttle ever since.
So now, how long has it been since you've actually taken over the operation of the school?
So I've been working with my father since 2021, and my mother. I've been working with both of them since 2021. So that is 2021. That's what, about 4 years?
Right.
Yeah.
And while we've got everybody listening, I'm going to give them the website here. So the primary website is pnlchildcaretx.com. That's P as in play, the letter N, L as in learn, childcaretx, short for Texas.com. And then the franchise information page is play in the letter N, learnfranchise.com. So I was looking at some of the reviews from some of the parents, and wow, they are very, very good. And so it sounds like your parents, and what I love about it too, since I am a Christian myself, is the Christian aspect of it, because we live in a pretty um, vile world, for lack of a better word.
Yeah,
And as Christians, and me being a Christian parent myself, it's great to know that there's something like what you're offering here, that's not just in it just to do the bare minimum, but you're actually there to, like you said, your parents' vision to give that child the very best world class education slash care that they can. So that's great.
yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head. My parents wouldn't have done this if it wasn't Christ led, right? And I think when we go back to not to get too deep into the Word of God, but when you go back to the Word of God, we see that what Jesus Christ did and what He did exceptionally well was serve, right? And my parents wanted to embody those values. Um, Opening this business is to serve and kind of be the hands and feet of Christ. Yeah,
Right. And, people joke around with me sometimes, say, "Oh, you're a perfectionist." I'm like, yeah, the God I serve is a perfectionist too.
Mhm.
So, he did say not one jot nor tittle shall pass till all be fulfilled. So, I like the fact that, as I am and the Bible is, and what you've done with this business here, the attention to detail is so important, especially when it comes to children, because that is the most impressionable years of their life. I think the research shows that about 80 to 90% of what you learn in life, you'll learn by the time you're 5 years old.
Absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I believe, just looking at the industry, I think more research is coming out about, teaching kids starting early, and we call those the developmental ages, right? Social and emotional, when they're learning, it's a pinnacle or a monumental moment, that we can't lose, right? So I totally agree. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I've got a beautiful nephew named Laurie, my sister's son, and he's 7, I think, and he is fluent in Spanish and English. And years ago they learned that it's much easier to start teaching children a foreign language at 3 or 4 or 5 than it is at high school level, because they just absorb it better. They don't have all those rules ingrained in their mind already about the English language. So
Yes.
so tell us about the day to day. Give us a brief description of what it's like for the children, because we know what a daycare is like. You drop your kids off, you pick them at a certain time, but it's different at your academy, right?
Yes, definitely. So of course, when you drop off your kids, we greet the parents. We have a wonderful holding room. And this holding room is just not a room where the kids wait to go to their classrooms. No, we have everything from blocks, books. We have interactions with our teachers, with our students. So from the very first time they get there in the morning, we are engaging and interacting with these kiddos, right? That's important. We want to get them ready. We want to get their minds racing or ready to learn as we transition them to their classroom, right? So that's six. We open up at 6:30. So that's from 6:30 to we open up our first class around 8 o'clock, right? Just looking, waiting to the morning rush die down, and then we make that smooth transition to their classes. When we get to classes, we serve them breakfast. So our child care center, we serve breakfast, uh, lunch, and dinner, and we have three snacks in between, or two snacks in between. Now, of course, if you're coming from school, you get that one snack if you're a schooler. However, but you get dinner as well. But no, yeah. So they come in and we have breakfast, and while we are doing breakfast, the kids, after they finish, every kid, they clean up, they get ready to go into their first station, which our first station is, they have, if you finish your food first, you have playtime, or we call it social and emotional engagement. So we allow them to go to different centers, different, play areas so that they can, continue to get their mind engaged. And then we go right into the first corporate time, which is a reading time or learning time. We have a number. We usually have a theme of the week that fits right into our curriculum. So usually when they're on that corporate time, they're going through their theme of the week. Um, if it's nice outside, after we do our theme of the week, we transition to our outside learning area, which we have a copious amount of different gardens, water sinks outside. So they're just not playing on the playground. We're trying to, again, engage them socially and emotional, or social and emotional development. This is key here, right? Then we have some STEM products, right? Or some STEM computers and STEM labs that engage them on the level of technology, science, and math, which is super important. Um, After then, around 11 o'clock, they come back in around 10, have lunch, they go to nap, they wake up, they have their first snack, um, and then we're going right back into playtime. They have free time where they can go and engage any area of their classroom, which they love to do. Everything from uh, puzzles to arts and crafts. And again, each activity that they're doing is fitting into the curriculum that we have created for that month, right? So it's just not, oh, yeah, they're going to play, but no, they're playing and learning at the same time. So,
Yeah, everything is fully structured, right?
right, right.
Right.
So, then before we sit back for their or come back in for their second corporate time, we go to they go to the bathroom, restroom, have a make sure they have to do what they have to do, come back, give them another snack time, and around this time, dinner is being prepared. Um, so this is around 4, and I'm going through the full day. Our schoolers get there around 4:30, 4:45. So our schoolers are coming in, they're getting their snack, they're going into doing their homework. We're helping them with their homework. If they need any type of assistance in that way, we're there to help them and qualified to help them as well.
So on that note, now let's add this because I thought this was great. So do you have a pickup service where you pick up children from their respective schools and then bring them back to your school?
Absolutely. So we have a bus. We have a couple of different buses that goes out on several different routes. That goes and pick up from our schools, our designated schools, and then we come back, bring them back to the center. We do morning drop off to school as well as pick up from school. So if you
That's
get your kids
awesome.
there in the center, we take them to school.
That's awesome. And so what time does your actual school typically close on a given day?
Right. So our closing hours is 6 o'clock. That is when we
Okay.
close. So we open up at 6:30 and we close at 6.
And then how many students do you currently have at your primary location?
Yeah. So we're sitting around 80, 83. 83 is we're licensed for 95, but our sweet spot is around 83 kiddos.
And you said that really is like an ideal number, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because as we know, we want to make sure that we're adequately caring for kids. So if, when you know the child care industry, you know ratio is super important, right? So the more kids in classrooms, you have to provide more, teacher student ratio. So provide more teachers, and we want to make sure that our kids are being taken care of and getting that one-on-one time. So it's important. So we do typically have a wait list to get into our center.
Right. That's great. Yeah. So back to the original vision of your parents, not just very good, but world class focus, which means every single detail. Now you told me that you're getting ready to open a second location. Is that right?
Yes, sir. So we're hopefully going to open up our second location in the DFW as well. We're looking to open up in Ball Springs. We're going through all the bureaucracy of working with the city, which the city has been amazing. But we're getting ready to open in Ball Springs, Texas, um, right off of Beltline. We're getting ready to put out some signage and let people know that we are coming, and we look forward to servicing your family and your community. Yes, sir.
That's great. So, what is for somebody that's looking to buy a franchise with the Play and Learn Christian Academy, what is the ideal size of the location that they would be looking for?
Definitely. So our sweet spot, the current facility that we're at is over 5,000 square foot, right? Square feet, excuse me. So we're roughly, we will say, from everything from 300 to 5,000 square feet would be an adequate square footage. And the reason why is because a lot of people look at the square feet, but if you have more bathrooms, that is how you grow your capacity within the center, right? The state will determine your capacity, or the city will determine your capacity based on how many bathrooms can service the kids, right? So if you have anything between there, you can usually, or between the numbers that I've given you, you can determine, usually if I want to add a bathroom, take away a bathroom, um, which benefits you in the long run, right?
Right. So in your current facility, how many bathrooms do you have in it?
So we have two, three, four. We have five restrooms. Five
And
restrooms.
that gives you about a 95 student capacity.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay, great. And then, of course, you need some sort of an area where you can fence it in for a play area, correct?
Absolutely. So that's what we suggest. However, we're definitely interested in, or we're open to seeing how we can configure the space, determine on the real estate, you know, property that you have determined to use or that you want to use. But we do want an enclosed area for outside learning and play. Yes,
I
sir.
tell you, thought that hit me that might be a really good idea if you could find it maybe like a older gymnasium that's not in use, and then you could build that out and then your play area could actually be indoors, I mean, that might work, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. We have an indoor activity room as well.
Right.
Surrounding our classroom, in the middle of our classroom, we have an activity room with a stage. So that we would love for people to create indoor spaces, just because you never know what the weather's going to be like, especially in Texas. So,
Yeah. Well, I said if you don't like the weather in Tennessee, just wait an hour, and
well, if it's waiting an hour in Tennessee, it's waiting 5 minutes in Texas. So,
yeah, yeah. All right. So, let's talk about the actual franchising part of it. So
yeah.
what is the franchise fee? What is the monthly royalty? And then what is the all-in like minimum investment?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a great question. So the minimum, to start out franchising with us, our franchise fee is $50,000, right?
Right.
So of course we're going to let you know that up front.
And then the monthly royalty is how much?
The monthly royalty is 6%, I believe.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then most franchises have like a 1% marketing fund.
Right, right, right. I think ours is two, but I think it's either two or one. Yes, sir.
Right. And then the minimum initial investment, which includes the franchise fee, is roughly what?
$304,000, 667.
Right. So that's the range between 304,000 up to just over 600,000.
Right.
And that would depend on the size of the facility that they're going to.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Now let's talk about for somebody that's looking to buy a franchise, what is the recommended amount of staff that they're going to need as far as teachers, administrator, that sort of a thing?
Absolutely. So you definitely want a director. Start off, going to get you a director, a well-trained director. I would say depending on how big your facility is, how many classrooms that you're going to run or open with. We run it with about 8 teachers at our current facility. That gives us a pretty good gridding for our school, and gridding is just making, the layout of how we're going to run, which is mostly beneficial to the students. So I say a sweet spot is eight teachers, a director. You want one transition teacher that can possibly also cook and be able to be a free runner as well. That is imperative. Also, looking for someone that can also drive, right? Those are qualities that we look for in our teachers, who are multi talented. Let's say that,
Right.
which is beneficial to.
And then as far as vehicles go, will they need like a small bus, a passenger van, or?
Yes, yes. So we recommend small cage buses. The reason why, because small cage buses are proven to be more safe for our students when transporting. So again, we do everything to make sure that our students are taken well care of. So we have three we have three small cage vehicles at our daycare center. I mean, at our school.
Right. And those are branded with your like wrap with your branding information on them or no?
No, they're currently not. We do have our logo though placed within inside the bus. Yes.
Okay, great. All right, and then let's talk about let's talk about what you charge for the students, because I think that's something that any potential franchisee would definitely want to know as far as the revenue goes. So give us just a synopsis about how you charge for the students.
So how we charge is usually in line with Texas Rising Star. So I can't believe I didn't mention this, but we are Texas Rising Star accredited on a 4-star scale. We sit at 4 stars, as well as we hold a NAC accreditation, which is a national accreditation. So usually the pay scale, we kind of follow the Texas Rising Star. Usually your infant rates are going to be your most highest rates because it takes just a little bit more care for them. And then going up from infant, preschool, toddler, preschool, and then schooler. Your all dayers is going to probably be where the most of you see your price at not an increase level, but it's going to be against the highest payments, right? And then your schoolers is going to be roughly a little bit under there because they're coming in just for not even half a day, but
So what is the actual dollar amount? Say
Oh,
it's starting at the minimum, and then what is the maximum ballpark?
absolutely. So roughly we sit for the infants around $300 a week. Yes, sir. And then moving to our our toddlers, we see 268 to 289, depending on some circumstances with the parents, what they're requesting, as well as you know uh, we do take CCMS, so we do have subsidized working with our parents to make sure that they can get adequate care at our center. Then we move into our preschool. It's going to be I believe 250 to 265. It fluctuates, and then we're looking at our schoolers, which is going to be about 200 to 215 a week.
Well, so, and is that you, cause my son's 23 and we never did daycare with him. We didn't have to, thank God. We did it like one time, one day, or just for like a couple of days when we lived in San Diego and he was just a baby. And, like I said, we'd been taking care of ourselves up until that point. And so we both got a job at the same company. So we had to get
Yeah.
daycare. And so, being a parent, we thought, well, we're going to take him daycare, and he's going to be bawling and squalling. He's going to want his parents. Man, he didn't even know we existed. When he seen those other kids, he was gone.
Yeah.
So does the rates that you charge for the parents, is that typical for like if they just took them to another daycare? Is it competitive with that?
So is it? I think our prices are definitely competitive. Also, going back to the point that you made about the one dayers, do we take one dayers? We typically encourage the parents to fully enroll, just because our spots are flying and we usually have a wait list. So,
See, that's a testament to how good you're doing, because that's not inexpensive by any means for depending on the different price points you talked about, but the fact that your reviews, like I said, are very, very good, and the fact that you have a waiting list. I mean, that's really awesome.
yes, sir.
Um, it would be fun to come to your school, 'cause I love kids anyway, and I used to love that show that Bill Cosby did. Kids say the darndest things, but
Oh man.
um, just to come to see, how the day goes, and, of course you'd have to drag me out of there. It's like, okay, Todd, you're 56. It's time to go now.
No, I get it. To be honest with you, Saul, that's how we want people to feel when they come to our center. We want people to fall in love with our teachers. We want people to fall in love with our director. We want people to fall in love with the space, just because we want you to make, we want this to make, we want it to make it feel like home for you as well. All right.
Right.
So, because I understand as a parent, when I'm dropping off my kid anywhere, I want to make sure that, call me a helicopter parent because I want to, that's my babies, I
Right.
really
Right.
want to make sure that they're adequately taken care of. So, we tell parents to do surprise visits. We're open to surprise visits. That means you at any day of the time when your schedule is open, we encourage you to drop in, come in, and just see how your kid is doing, because we want that level of transparency. We want that level of vulnerability to let you know that, hey, we have nothing to hide. We have cameras all around our centers, outside and inside. So we definitely want to make sure that, we want them to be like, man, I want to stay here.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, here's a neat question. So, do the parents have access to the camera system when they're out and about?
They do not have access to the cameras. However, if an incident happens, we do go back. We record everything down on digital files as well. Meaning we record the time. We know the time of when it happened, how it happened, and we go directly to that time frame on the camera, and allow the parents to see what exactly happened. So we do allow
That's cool.
parents to watch our camera video. Yes, ma'am.
So, what sort of accreditation do the teachers have to have? Is it like a normal teacher degree, or is it? Tell us about that.
That's a wonderful question. Here at Play and Learn Christian Academy, we take pride in investing in our faculty, right? Our staff, because we understand you may grow and you may go. We want to help you propel forward and go out into the career field with certification. So we train all of our teachers. Our teachers receive their CDA, which is their Child Development Association certificate. We partner with the local community college, where and child group within the DFW area, where they go and get trained and come back with their CDAs. And that just shows you the level of intentionality that we have about developing the talent that comes with our, that comes in at our center. And and that helps with retention. That helps with retention of our staff. That helps the industry in general. We hear a lot about in the childcare industry. We might hear, some of the challenges may be, retention and recruitment. Well, I'm a big believer in investing in your staff, and we've seen our retention rate, you know, exceed. So we do train our staff to get their CDAs, which is a total benefit for our kiddos.
That's great. Well, so we're talking with Chukwuma Oputa, and him and his wife Andrea. They have basically taken over a vision of this Play and Learn Christian Academy that his parents started. And what year did they start the school? You said
1998.
1998. I'm trying to think how old I was then in '98. 68, 70, 80. I was 30 at that time. So because I was born in '68. Well, that's great. So, I guess we get ready to wrap up here. And for those of you who are listening to this podcast, the description, the link for the information is in the description. You can click on it, take you right to the website. But again, it's Play and Learn Christian Academy. They're based out of Dallas, Texas. It's a phenomenal, like Chuck Wimmer was saying, world class, school slash daycare for children. And what is the age range of the children? You said from baby all the way up to what age?
12 years old. Yes, sir.
12 years
0
old.
weeks to 12 years old. Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we get ready to wrap up here, Chuck Wilma, tell us about how you came across, were introduced to franchise marketing systems, and tell us about your experience with them.
Absolutely. I can't speak enough about FMS, man. They've been wonderful. How we came across it was because of my big brother, who found out about FMS. I know he reached out. They got back to him, and then my brother came down and introduced FMS to us. We got on a call with Chris, and he just explains what they do, and gave us the history and the resume of success stories, not just with other franchises and brands, but with child cares. So we were really impressed, and they've been phenomenal working with just the team and all the resources that are available to you if you're trying to franchise. Is I think it's pretty much unheard of. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, they're definitely unique in how many different steps they do for you, in addition to your franchise disclosure document, which is that legal document you have to have in order to sell a franchise in any of the 50 states. But I mean, they're doing your federal trademark filing, they're doing your operations manual, your sales brochure, your franchise information website, and
Yep.
that's just scratching the surface. And they're so fluid in the process that they do it and how they communicate. Because I know this from my own self being a franchisor and watching them develop my company into a franchise. I'm like you and so many of franchisors I've interviewed, just nothing but completely and totally impressed with what FMS does and how well they communicate through the process. No
Biggest
pressure, no high pressure sales. No, we don't know the answer to that or we don't do it that way. They do it the way you want it done, but they also do it based on what's right and what's going to be completely legal and above board. And just they really are awesome to say the least.
Absolutely. They go at your pace as well, and they respond back to you as soon as possible. So yeah, I can't say enough. We've really enjoyed working with FMS, and we look forward to continue the partnership that we have formed.
One last thing I wanted to throw in here. You and I had talked on the phone. You said you're one of 4 siblings, correct?
One of 3, yes, sir.
One of 3, but all 3 of these, Chuck Wimmer and his brother and sister, right?
Yes, sir.
They all have biblical names and they all start with CH, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And to give you just the history, before we got on the call, Tom, we had that conversation. And it was just, I got off the call. I was just thinking, I was like, man, names are, I was talking to my wife. I was like, give me, what you name your child is so important. It is
Yes.
so important. But yeah, my name is Chikuma. It means God knows. My sister name is Chinyere, means God's gift. And my brother name is Chikuso, which means God is with. And it all comes from a Nigerian Igbo origin. So yeah, my father's originally from Nigeria, moved to Dallas. And when you really think about my mom's story and my father's story, is really the American dream.
That's
Just
cool.
small town girl from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Immigrant from Nigeria that came, met in Dallas, and created a robust business model that has served the community. You can't get better than that. So
That's true. That is true.
so
Well,
definitely.
listen, if you'd like to learn more about this awesome franchise, it's Play and Learn Christian Academy. They're, like I said, they're based out of Dallas, Texas. It's a phenomenal school slash daycare, and like on steroids, really. What I love about it, is that your whole family is so committed to the perfection of this business. So anybody looking to buy a franchise with this company, I feel going to have excellent support, not only from a business standpoint, but from a Christian standpoint too. Because as you and I both know, Chuck Wimmer, it's, being a Christian running a business, you're held to a higher standard by the Lord than somebody who doesn't even claim to be a Christian.
Oh
So,
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
absolutely. Well, thank you so much. And listen, if you want to buy a franchise or you want more information about this, you can call me directly, Todd Abraham, 423-381-0925. And I will get you in touch with Chuck Wimmer and get any of the questions answered that you would have, any of the documents you would need to review, such as the franchise disclosure document. And then by all means, look in the description of the podcast and check out both their primary website and their franchise information page. Chuck Wimmer, it's been a blessing, man. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you, Todd. I really appreciate your time, and thank you for hosting this. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And we're closing out here, but listen again, you're listening to the Franchise Marketing Systems Client Spotlight podcast on franchiseradio.net. My name is Todd Abraham. and we hope you enjoyed this podcast.